Deep in the shadows, I know it's hard to put one foot in front of the other.
Hi everyone, welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Happy holidays if you're still celebrating. And if you're joining this channel for the very first time, I post fragrance related content on this platform and would very much appreciate it, guys, if you did consider subscribing. Now, to those who are returning, thank you so much for the continued support. I appreciate you guys as always. Now, shout out to everybody who has contributed towards the growth of this channel by going to the PayPal link and following prompts. I came here a couple of weeks ago and I mentioned that I'd opened a second channel titled CeeChronicles Unscripted, where I intend to showcase my life outside of fragrance reviews. And I had mentioned in that particular video that the reason behind opening that channel was to also support this channel, as this channel relies solely on AdSense, which means I only get paid if you watch adverts. And most of you guys were actually shocked by that because you wanted to know why I did not have affiliate links, sponsorships, paid partnerships, and stuff like that. And I did mention to you guys that it was because of my geographic location, right? I created this account in Zimbabwe. In as much as I have dual residency in Zimbabwe and South Africa, I created this particular channel, in Zimbabwe, and Zimbabwe is a sanctioned country. So even if I get paid promotions, affiliate links, which I get almost on a daily basis, guys, I often have to pass on those because of the logistics of moving, for instance, commissions and stuff like that. And Zimbabwe does not have a super thanks button. So when I mentioned that if the second channel grows and gets monetized, it will help towards the addition of more fragrances towards this channel, because the AdSense payment often gets depleted, and I often have to add money off pocket because I also do not have a fragrance shop. You guys then suggested that I should try maybe an Amazon registry or a PayPal link, which I did. So why I'm saying thank you is I am thanking, I think I have about 4 people that have contributed to that account as, a thank you towards the support and the growth of this channel. So thank you so much for that, guys. Remember to check out CeeChronicles Unscripted. It's on the interface of this page, as well as that PayPal link is on the interface of this page. So if you feel you want to donate anything towards the purchase of fragrances on this channel, or just to support this channel, you can go ahead and follow that link and follow the prompts, and then you can make your contribution. Now, welcome to today's video, guys. I'm so sorry the intro was so long, but I just feel, guys, when it comes to money, sometimes you need to be transparent. This is why I'm even putting anybody who donates anything on my community tab. I will, however, take those posts down, but I just felt that, it's only fair that whoever puts money in there, I put them on my community tab as a thank you and an acknowledgement. Now, today's video is going to be about Lattafas in a retrospect. These are the 2023 Lattafas that I purchased. Some of them may not be 2023 compositions, but I'm just going to tell you my brief thought on them, which ones worked, and possibly rate them, okay, for you. Now, the very first one is going to be Anti Farhat. Now, this fragrance, guys, did not get the limelight at all. I think I've only seen just 1 or 2 more people talk about this fragrance, so it was one of those that just didn't make it, okay. This one draws its inspiration from Arabian Oud D1, okay, D1. I sometimes have like a tongue thing going on, so please excuse that. Arabian Oud D1. Okay, now that's an aromatic, minty, fresh, peppery, spicy scent, but it is masculine leaning, this one. So ladies, if you want to purchase this, you might need to go and try it. It is long lasting, but unfortunately I think people slacked it off for some reason, and it's one that I don't reach out for a lot. So I'm going to give this one a 6 out of 10. But if you like minty aromatic fragrances there with a little bit of some lavender, if I'm not mistaken, then this one's going to do it for you guys. It's the first one on the lineup. The second Lattafa on the lineup is Relat. Okay, now Relat is a fragrance that's been about the block for years. It actually is on the Lattafa original pamphlet, the one that they released that had the oud moods and all those very first Lattafa fragrances, guys. But another one that really did not tick a lot of people's fancy, guys. But this is a beautiful fragrance. It's a saffron, lavender, fruity fragrance there. It does not list fruits as such, but it's sweet, and the sweetness to my nose comes across as coming from a fruit. It's spicy as well. There's amber, there's musk, there's patchouli in this fragrance, and it lasts all day. I gave it a 10 out of 10, guys, because if you don't have this one, you ought to check it out. It does lean 80% masculine in as much as it has that fruity tone, and it draws its inspiration from Weeden Liwa. This particular one is called Rela, and it's sitting on our number 2. Al Saf is a fragrance I came with here and I hyped a lot, right? My dent is not that much because it then went at the back of my shelf and for some reason kind of got lost there, because I was then into that mode of discovering the new Lattafa Pride collection. Now, there is nothing wrong with Al Saf. This is another one I gave a 10 out of 10 because this one has those spices, but it is mostly that cinnamon that is prominent there, and it also has saffron, styrax, resinoid, vanilla, amber, rose. But to cut to the chase, this fragrance to my nose just smells like a sweetened, almost chocolatey, vanilla-y scent. So there is like a cacao backdrop to this fragrance. And some of you did come in my comment section when I reviewed it and said this is inspired by Spice Bomb Extreme. So if you love that fragrance, guys, you ought to try this one. I gave this one a 10 out of 10 full performance, and it is enjoyable, guys. So this is Blind by Safe as well. No oud traces in here. It is here, and it's sitting on our number 3. Aiza is the 4th one on the lineup, guys, drawing its inspiration from Carolina Herrera's Good Girl. The original bottle, the original stiletto that everybody liked, right? Now, this is your almond, cacao, and coffee scent. It also has, of course, a host of other notes there, which will include vanilla. You know, the list goes on. I think even praline, if I'm not mistaken. This is a good contender, guys, to Good Girl. The only thing I can say is Good Girl to my nose kind of leans unisex, even to an extent 65% masculine. There is a tonka in there that draws masculine to my nose. This does not have that. This makes it more about the almond and the cacao note there together with the coffee. So if you like that, you're gonna love this one, guys. I gave this one a 9 out of 10 simply because of performance issues. It doesn't perform dismally, but it's one that you may need to reapply, say, on the 7th hour there for it to last till the next wash. So that is the only reason why I gave it a 9 out of 10. Otherwise, it is a gorgeous fragrance overall. Number 5, guys, is Khaf. This is a fragrance I bought based on the notes. They listed caramel in here. They listed strawberry in here, if I'm not mistaken. I think they listed some peach, some saffron, some ginger. And I was expecting a fragrance that's just going to lift me off my feet there and take me to paradise. And what I got from this fragrance, guys, was this patchouli on steroids. And I understand this is a fragrance that somebody can completely go crazy about. But it is one fragrance that I may have to gift somebody because it just doesn't work for me. The mix in itself, it is quite complex, and it draws its inspiration, guys, from a combo of Xerjov's Le Capital together with Lorenzo Villoresi's patchouli. It is a concoction of those two fragrances like synced together there, but I don't really care much for this one, guys, and for that reason I gave it a 4 out of 10. However, this lasts till the next wash. It is beastly in performance. It is just that it's one of those fragrances that you either love or you don't care for, right? And it is unisex leaning to my nose. Nashit, guys, is sitting on our number 6, and we've got to give Nashit its flowers. There's nothing I will say about this one that hasn't been said a gazillion times. This is a fragrance that attempted Nishani Ani's DNA and, bang on, got it right there. So for the price of Nishani Ani versus what you pay for Nashit, I'm going to say just go for this one, guys. And it's a fragrance that macerates to a bitter concoction. If you get yours and it's kind of not really doing the most there, you've got to let it sit, just like most Middle Eastern fragrances. And while I'm at it, I might as well just address the issue of maceration, because I got a question from somebody who wanted to know why Middle Eastern fragrances need to macerate. And most of them need to, because Middle Eastern fragrances do use like a higher higher concentration of oil there, and oil components are quite volatile. So what happens with movement, especially if you're getting your fragrance via post and it's been shaken about and stuff like that, sometimes there is like a disintegration of that oil mixing with the alcohol. So if you spray the first squirt there, it might come across as a harsh or off-putting or whatever. So what you need to do when you get it is you spray first, you know, the first like 3-4 sprays, 5 sprays out, let it sit there, let the notes just mix and blend to be one or in sync. That is the whole thing when it comes to maceration. So this is a fragrance, guys, that after a while gets to improve and gets better. And I gave it a 10 out of 10 because it is a good fragrance. It's called Nashit. Simply Oud is sitting on our number 7. This is a new addition to my collection. I bought this one in the beginning of December or late November, one of that time period. This fragrance, guys, did not wow me. Well, not that I was expecting it to be any different, because Lattafa did not beat about the bush there when it comes to the name of this fragrance. Simply Oud here simply means Simply Oud. So this, to my nose, doesn't wow me in the sense that because I've used a gazillion Lattafas out there, it kind of reminds me of a lot of fragrances within their collection that I've used before. You're going to get traces of something that feels like Rugba Oud Wood. Is it Rugba Wood Intense? In this, you're going to get something that feels like a Mir Al Oud Intense, minus the smoky accord there. You know, that typical Lattafa DNA is what you're going to get here. Quite Middle Eastern leaning. However, the Oud here is not doing the most. It's just that if you have used a lot of their fragrances, it's just going to come across as, okay, that's Oud and vanilla next. Okay, so this one's called Simply Oud, and it's sitting on our number 7, and I gave it a 5 out of 10 because it lacks uniqueness. Badi Al Oud Honor and Glory was one fragrance that was just playing hard to get for me, right? I was one of the late comers when it came to Badi Al Oud Honor and Glory. What I can say about this one is it's another one that feels like Nashit in terms of wanting to macerate or needing to macerate. But this one, let me say, can come off as bad. Like initially, it just can come across as really harsh there. This is one that you need to spray a couple of sprays away out of the bottle, then let it sit there and let it do its own thing. After about 6 weeks or something like that, the creme brulee starts to come to the surface. The pineapple starts to come to the surface. And this is not to say these notes do not come to the surface immediately. They do. It's just that they feel rough around the edges there before it actually sits. Well, after it sits, you get the most beautiful pineapple working with a beautiful creme brulee there and some spices coming from this fragrance. This, to my nose, does feel a lot like Shaheen Gold, a fragrance that they have given us already, mixing together with Halter Royal Blends, which I do not mind. It's just that I was not expecting that. I still gave it a 10 out of 10 regardless for being the beast it is. Now, mental shortcut in case you haven't used Shaheen Gold from the Lattafa Pride collection and you haven't used Halter Royal Blends, Ash, one of the reviewers here, said one thing about this fragrance and immediately it made sense. He said this feels like a fusion of Nishani Ani together with Hasivad, and I was like, that's it. That's it. You got it. Okay, so that's what this fragrance feels like, right? Another one that does not align with any gender. So whether you're a man or a woman, you're most likely going to be able to use this one without a problem. It's called Badi Al Oud Honor and Glory, guys, and it's sitting on our number 8. 9 and 10 are going to be these two guys. These just didn't even go down in a blaze of glory. You know where Bon Jovi says, I'm going out in a blaze of glory. These just did not draw any interest, guys. L'Autre Oud, drawing its inspiration from Lancome's L'Autre Oud. And this one, L'Autre Musk. These are just fragrances that came and I showed them to you. I spoke about them and they were forgotten the minute I just didn't speak about them, I guess. And by this, I mean, they haven't been featured a lot. I'm not saying I'm the only one who spoke about these fragrances, but they haven't really been featured much. And in case you haven't bought these fragrances and you're like, oh my God, where did those come from? Let me say this. This I gave a 5 out of 10, guys. It's L'Autre Oud, in as much as it draws its inspiration from Lancome's L'Autre Oud. I don't get a special fragrance, guys, from this. I get an oudy, sweet, vanilla-y fragrance, something along them lines. A fragrance that is great for layering. You know, you can wear it on its own, but it does have a vanilla there that kind of weighs in to punch up certain fragrances. And the same applies with this one. You know, they both feel like they're just great for layering. The L'Autre Musk is like a sour toned, you know, fragrance there. This I gave a 4 out of 10. It's like a sour toned musk. It does have a floral there, but it has a bitter tone to it. It will revamp your fragrance, but wearing it on its own, it can be a hit or a miss. It gives you thinking, well, hello, what's going on? So it is a fragrance that kind of needs getting used to. You know, this you can literally just fall in love 101, although it's not special to me. But this one kind of feels like those molecular, you know, fragrances, those eccentric molecule fragrances where they're just used as a base, and then you can just then pour whatever it is on yourself, or you then can spritz whatever it is on yourself, and they kind of like just work to add a twist to a fragrance. So this is our number 9 and number 10, guys. L'Autre Oud and L'Autre Musk. Gave one 5 out of 10 and the other one a 4 out of 10. Both of them are unisex, by the way. Tim is 11th on this lineup. I'm just gonna give this one its flowers, guys, for being minimalistic. It just comes in like that sack, you know, where you get the moussef, is it? Yeah, the moussef fragrances. From this fragrance, I get a punched up version of what feels like a Bouvari Tiger with a lot of caramel, you know, like a very sweetened Tiger there, fused, of course, with the moussef brown DNA that they have presented to the, you know, to the public there in their Oud L Saffron line. So it's gonna give you like a fusion, not exactly a 101 moussef brown kind of clone, but it is going to give you like a punched up version of something that feels like moussef brown, a little bit of something that feels like Tiger, but you can't call it outright Tiger. But whatever it is, just make sure you like sweet caramel, spicy fragrances. That is what you're going to get from this. It draws 65% masculine, but as a woman, you can totally wear this, especially if you love masculine, spicy, woody fragrances there. I gave it a 10 out of 10, guys, because of its solid performance. This one is long lasting. It's a very likable DNA, guys. Sitting on our number 11 is Tim. 12th on the lineup, guys, is none other than Anome Gold, a fragrance that just holding it like this is like, next. We all know about this fragrance. And of course, this fragrance is popular and very popular for a reason, to an extent that I think retailers hoarded it. If it was not for that, Lattafa was overwhelmed with the demand for this fragrance, because at some point you just couldn't find it. And if you could, the price was so hiked to an extent that you had to think twice. Do I really need this? Okay, so anyway, it was that social media hype there that put this one on the pedestal. It's not a bad fragrance on its own. I actually absolutely love this. This fragrance draws its inspiration, guys, from Killian's Love Don't Be Shy or Parfums de Marley's Oriana. So if you love that concoction, that DNA fused together, you are gonna absolutely love this fragrance, guys. However, if you've never smelled those two fragrances, this is gonna be your citrusy opening there with a lot of candy weight in it. It's gonna feel a little bit creamy there, musky to an extent, soapy to an extent, marshmallowy, very candy forward and very feminine. Gave this one a 9 out of 10 simply because it's a reapply fragrance after 7 hours. I've had mine for close to a year, so you're not gonna change much, are you? Yeah, so I'm giving it a 9 out of 10 just because of that, but otherwise it's blended to perfection. It's called Anome Gold. 13th on the lineup is a fragrance that almost made me lose hope when it came to the Lattafa Pride collection, the 2nd edition. This one's called Raw Human, guys. The first impressions with this, second, third, even now impression is a fragrance that I don't know what they were really trying to do. It keeps on giving me different pages. 1 minute, she or he smells like ombre leather. Then, oh no, I'm not ombre leather. I have like apricots and me and all that in me. So I'm not in, so it's one of those fragrances that the look versus what you get, it's not a bad profile, but they could have put it in a clear bottle. They could have put it in a softer bottle, if you will, because it is a fragrance whose identity I cannot pin. For the past 2 months or so, this fragrance has been leaning closer and closer to Guerlain's Cœur Intense than Ombre Leather. So I'm going to say this. It's got leather, but it's diluted. It's got those fruits, they're diluted. It's got spices, but it is like just a watered type of presentation of whatever they were going for here. So this, guys, unfortunately gets a 3 out of 10. I was expecting fireworks, and I'm like, oh, okay. Next, you know what I mean? So this is raw human, guys. Unisex leaning. I just expect a subtle leather there with a punched up fruity thing there that makes it actually 65% feminine, if I may say, though it is unisex, guys. It's here and it's sitting on our number 13. Ajaib Dubai. This concoction comes across as what you'd get from this in the initial spray there, where you like, wait a minute, what are you doing? This Ajaib Dubai, guys, is a fragrance that has everything trying to come out at the same time. It will say to you, I have butterscotch, I also have caramel, I have toffee, oh, I have coffee, did you know I also have tonka? It's that type of fragrance. It's sweet, it's spicy, it's everything going on at the same time, and it kind of like shock you there a little. So it's one fragrance that, because of that, I just took and put it right behind my shelf, and then pulled it out after a while, and then gave it a very low rating. And somebody in the comment section said, I am so hurt, because of your rating of Ajaib Dubai. It is one of the most perfectly blended fragrances on the market. Did you really give it a chance? And I was like, been there, done that, won the t-shirt. I ain't going there. I mean, it just reminds me of Tar. That's what my thought process was at the time. And then I just one day decided to say, okay, let me spray you on the curtains, and I'll make sure that it's in the other side of the room, just in case you start to annoy me. And then I was walking in the house past where I had sprayed this fragrance. There was a beautiful buttery butterscotch, yummy butterscotch carameling in this fragrance. Toffee, I don't know what you want to call it, creamy. It is another one, guys, that tends to show up there messed up in terms of disintegration. So if you buy Ajaib Dubai, just let this one sit. It will give you that serving one by one. The coffee you will smell, the pineapple you will smell, butterscotch you will smell, and the spices you're gonna smell. So it matures to a very beautiful, perfect blend of what feels like Killian's Black Phantom punched up with pineapple. So this is a solid 10 out of 10, guys. Don't sleep on this fragrance. If you just chucked it away like I did, revisit it and come back in the comment section and tell me your thoughts. Lean, guys, is sitting on our number 15, one of the most gorgeous blends from the Lattafa Pride collection. This is one that you may need to wait for if you cannot find. This is one that might quickly disappear, just like what happened with Anome Gold of their first Lattafa Pride collection. This is one of the most well-blended mango fragrances on the market. This is sexy. It's gonna give you feminine though, and I have to bring it close to home. I'm gonna say 85% feminine vibes here, but it's the most seductive, sexy, smooth, feminine fragrance I've smelled in a long time. The mango in here is so smooth. I kind of have an inkling that this could be drawing its inspiration from either Willem's mango or one of the House of Oud perfumes, the one with the mango. I really haven't had the time to smell either, but the way this is just perfection in a bottle, I suspect it's one of those, guys. So this one's called Lean, and it's a solid 10 out of 10 for me. Mor Silky Rose is a 16th on this lineup. It is a musk, right, that is carrying an iris and a violet, very powdered there, very marshmallowy, Candid type of fragrance there, baby powder to the nose. I just think this fragrance, guys, didn't get the shine that it deserved, because again, Lattafa just keeps making fragrances to an extent that some of their fragrances don't really make it to the center stage, because before we can even process one, they have already made a counterpart of that fragrance. So I just think that is what was going on with this fragrance, or what still is going on with this fragrance. I give it a 7 out of 10 though, because of its delicate texture there, light performing fragrance. So this is Mor Silky Rose, and it leans feminine. Bayan is the next on the lineup. This draws its inspiration, guys, from Louis Vuitton's Ombre NAD. If you can get past the Colgate tone, I mean toothpaste. If you can get past the minty tone, right? Am I saying Ombre NAD doesn't have that? No, I'm not saying Ombre NAD does not have that tone. But in here, it's a bit amplified to an extent that for some people, they're going to be stuck there where it kind of feels very Colgate-y there, even camphorous to the nose. However, it's a beautiful rose and oud combo, guys. So if you love your Ombre NAD, you're going to love this fragrance. I gave it a 7 out of 10 because I don't reach for it that much, but it's great in terms of performance. And it is one that is a unisex, but leans about 75% masculine. It's sitting on our number 17. Yara is 18th on the lineup, guys. And Marc Jacobs, a perfect intense clone, right? And I had been in a war of words with you guys when it came to this, because I was adamant that this does not smell nothing like Marc Jacobs Perfect Intense until I bought one off their Maison Alhambra line called Precious Gold, right? And when I sprayed Precious Gold, I was like, that kind of smells like Yara, but not like my Yara. It kind of smells like the normal way Yara should smell like. So this, guys, is a fragrance that draws its inspiration from Marc Jacobs Perfect Intense, if you get it from a batch that hasn't gone bad, right? There is a peach note in here that seems to go off, and I was one of the unlucky ones to get mine with a rotten peach. I don't know what makes this fragrance go bad. So if you can get it off a good batch, yes, it's going to give you a fragrance at par with Marc Jacobs Perfect Intense. But as for mine, it's just there to complete this set of bottles. Otherwise, I don't care much for it, guys. I'm not going to rate this one, because obviously it would be unfair rating it based off the fact that it is a fragrance that's gone off, right? So I'm just going to leave it at that, but clue you up on the fact that it is a Marc Jacobs Perfect Intense clone. Muna is sitting on our number 19, the queen that wore the crown, but nobody noticed. Not a single soul noticed. So Her Royal Highness did not get the bows and the curtsies from the audience. This is what I get from this, guys. This is a beautiful, jammy rose. It is a gorgeous fruit and floral combo, guys. This leans feminine. This does not have traces of any Middle Eastern tone to it. But unfortunately, in Lattafa style, they just have fragrances that come and come and come. And at the end of the day, people don't know what they're buying. For instance, this could have been overshadowed by this, because just looking at the two bottles, it's easy to think, I think I've seen that one before. I think that I've seen, you get what I'm trying to say. So it is just one of those fragrances that really didn't shine. But I think if it's not a 2023 composition, then it's probably a 2022 composition. I have given this one a full review, guys. If you want to try it out, you can. You can see my dent there. I absolutely love Muna. I have given this one a solid 10 out of 10 because it's a gorgeous fragrance. But unfortunately, I don't see a lot of people talk about it. The lasting power for this is about 8 to 10 hours, and it does lean feminine, and it's sitting on our number 19. Candid ALFAN Unlimited Edition is taking number 20th position. I added this one to my collection this year, in as much as some of you guys had it for the longest time. I kind of have like a love and hate relationship with this fragrance. This, to my nose, feels like Lattafa sat in there and said, okay, right, these guys haven't had a coconut, like a serious coconut fragrance from us, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to give them like coconut in its heady, like in its intoxicating mix. It draws a buttery, very milky there, very creamy there. And you've got to love lactonic fragrances for you to appreciate this fragrance. It's not a bad fragrance, but I come from the blazing heat. So this fragrance for me turns to a heady mess where it kind of borders on nauseating there. This is going to have 40% semblance of Mancera's vanilla cocoa, but don't rush and buy this just yet because I have said it has semblance of that. This takes like a milky coconutty tone, buttery tone that I was talking about there. So this can be a little bit heady, bordering on choking, especially if you are in the heat. Maison Alhambra, a subsidiary for that house, have released a bang on vanilla cocoa inspiration. So before you rush for this, maybe you ought to try the Montaigne cocoa from the Maison Alhambra line. I gave this one a 6 out of 10 because of how I feel about it, but it's a great performing fragrance. It's a long lasting fragrance, but it just kind of chokes me out in the heat because 90% of the time in my country, we're just in a blazing heat, guys. A unisex fragrance that probably leans 70% feminine there, right? And it's sitting on our number 20. If you're hearing some funny noise in the background, guys, pardon me. A neighbor decided this is the perfect day to mow their lawn, right? So if you're hearing some, it's not coming from this house, it's coming from the other side. And the mower is very loud. I don't think it should be that loud. I mean, we get it. Unless they're not mowing the lawn, unless maybe they're cutting a tree or something, because it's super, super loud. Anyway, number 20, one on the lineup is Oud L Musk, right? This has a perfect blend of raspberry, rose, patchouli, oud, all those nice notes. But another one that is just there for me. Okay, I gave this one a 6 out of 10, guys, because it's okay. It's just something that I would expect Lattafa to do. You know how they use their oud, how they use their spices, how they use their. The only thing about this one is it's a bit on the lighter side of things. If I should compare it with this one, right? This has the vanilla, but the vanilla is not as vanilla-ing as this. You can see even the darkness in this bottle. So, but it kind of feels like that traditional Lattafa DNA, where if you've used a lot of Lattafas, it's just going to come across as, oh, okay, next. Sitting, guys, on our number 21. So we are on number 22, and I'm gonna say midway through this video, guys. If you've sat through up to this time, thank you so much, for choosing to binge watch our Lattafa editions of 2023 in retrospect. While you're at it, if you haven't subscribed, please do consider subscribing, joining the family, liking and sharing this video. Also, remember the second channel, CeeChronicles Unscripted. Kindly go and subscribe on that one as well, guys. It's fun all through here. Now, so guys, I'm going to call it a wrap here. I intended to do just one video, but Lattafa fragrances are so many in my collection. So I'm going to have to cut this one as part 1 right here. And then the other half that is remaining of about 25 fragrances, I'm going to put on part 2. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's been your girl, CeeChronicles. Like, share and subscribe. And I will see you in the next one, guys. Bye.